maximizing the business opportunities. Okay, I was recently interviewed asking. I was being asked about what do you think about all the changes with the Trump administration? I said, well, if he's to his word that he wants to support job creation, he should let all these industries develop. So, and he could even ask his Secretary of Energy, former governor of Texas, how many jobs did the wind industry created in Texas? So, I guess if we take a step back from politics, this is just economic opportunity while doing good and cleaning our environment. I've been focusing on this idea of North America as a global powerhouse, and the opportunities that there are within this concept of a clean North American economy. I have been working, I don't know how many of you have heard of carbon markets. It's the idea of using markets to reduce the regulatory costs to mitigate emissions while also fostering innovation. Why? Because if you set a goal of how many emissions you want to reduce, you let the market decide by allocating that amount that scientists and politicians have decided is the right amount. Then the market determines the price, and with scarcity, as you know, some people are going to have more efficient solutions, others more costly. They're going to trade, there's going to be a gain from that. But also, in that effort to try to be more effective so you can gain some economic benefit, you're also going to innovate and improve either managerially your processes or with technology reduce your emissions. And that was, before coming to Stanford, I was the director of the Center for Environmental Public Policy at Berkeley. And that's a little bit of a difference between Berkeley and Stanford. Berkeley is very focused on the regulatory approaches, how we're going to control it, how we're going to, here is like, how we're going to solve the problem. So I myself started transitioning into this idea of how the business community or the entrepreneurs could actually help this process despite government. Because this has been, you see, it took 20 years for the world to agree on doing something. And now we have the US saying, I don't want to do it, I don't want to play ball anymore. Okay? So that's the idea that now we have companies like Tesla or SunPower or, you know, trying to change the world, as I said, making money while also cleaning and transforming the way we're doing things. I started focusing on this idea of low-carbon business transformation. And I think that once big corporations and these companies, you know, take a hold around the world, it's going to happen. And I think we're now already moving in that direction. Political cycles are going to be always affecting. A while ago, when the U.S. rejected Kyoto, Canada also pulled out of the climate agreement. But now Canada is a leader again. You know, so these are normal cycles in politics. In California, and this is just an example. This is my most recent book. The culture had always been in the U.S. Well, not always been, but in the idea of promoting the car as a way of life, as economy, as a as part of economic development. Everybody had to own a car. You know, Ford said that, and so the development was very car-centric. California, this is a technology that Europe has had for many years now, which is high-speed rail or trains and all that. It's now going to experiment deploying that for the first time in the U.S. actually, and so I was looking more of it not as it's not a piece of advocacy that this is the best thing to do, but it is how governments can also do transformational investments to change the culture of the city, of how people behave, by starting to develop more public transport, integrated networks. We were talking about the efficiency of integrating transport, the last mile, the first mile, how you connect, all that kind of stuff, combined with major infrastructure investments supported by information technology, can transform the way we transport ourselves and, again, improve quality of life, reduce emissions, and have a much more efficient infrastructure. And then coming down to this idea of how businesses and innovation and ingenuity can actually transform our world. In the late 90s, California went through an energy crisis. Energy was very, very expensive. And so people here in the Bay Area, especially Silicon Valley, you know, all the IT industry is very energy intensive. So energy costs were going off the roof. And they got together and they said, how can we become much more energy efficient? But they invited academia, NGOs, and so academia said, you know, we've been measuring all your greenhouse gas emissions. Why don't we make an effort to reduce your energy consumption while we also account for how many greenhouse gases you're mitigating? And they got together and they created this idea of sustainable Silicon Valley. And that's the genesis of where Schwarzenegger got his idea of making California a clean economy.